I wanted to be on. Also, I'm just going to speak of you. There we are. Lovely to have so many of you on tonight. This is also being streamed into our Facebook group. Hello to everybody on Facebook. Really, really lucky tonight to be joined by... Oh, excuse me. Got to just mute myself over on Facebook. Always helps. Oh, there we go. There we go. Really lucky to be joined by Meg Roundell Greene tonight, who has an amazing business. She runs the Fearless Entrepreneur, and she's here tonight to talk to us because this is Mindset Month in May, and this is Mental Health Week as well, teaching us how to embrace money, how to make our businesses seem easier, to take the stress out of it, to attract wonderful things. I think we're all on here literally with pen and paper ready. Ready for it. But it's a really important topic because, you know, so many of us want to achieve more in life, no matter what the goal. And we have blocks, and we have things that the way we think, things that stand in our own way. And I'm really excited to hear what you have to say, Meg. I know you're a fan of our products as well. I know through Lena.
Yes.
We're using the products, which is fantastic. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that as well. But Meg, tell us about you. How did you get into doing what you do?
Yeah, really good question. So I was talking about this yesterday actually with someone, and before I started coaching, I kind of didn't know what coaching, I didn't think it was a thing. Like, that wasn't in my radar. Oh, I'll just be a coach. I was just like, I know a lot about a lot of things, sales and marketing, because that's my background, that's my corporate background. I grew up in London, you know, left uni just basically left uni, started working, and I've just been working in sales and marketing. So I was like, sure, there's something here that I can help women do, because I found, like many of you probably have found or are finding, that having a full-on corporate job and a demanding family life can be really incompatible. So I found it really incompatible, and I left my corporate world voluntarily to set up by myself. And I thought, as I was going through that, I was like, if I'm having all these problems starting my own business, I'm sure there are lots of other ladies who are having similar problems, because it wasn't about the strategy. It wasn't about the what do I do and where do I put things first. That was all like the easy stuff. The hard stuff was the how do I feel about it? Can I show up and sell myself without like kind of being sick down my sleeve, basically going on a Facebook Live and being like, here's me, here's my heart on my sleeve, telling you that I'm amazing at something. Can I actually do that? That was really the hardest part. So I thought, I think there's something in here. So I want to really help other women who are really passionate and really experienced and have a lot of knowledge do that better and easier, so it's more fun, because it can be really difficult.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just like, it came to a natural stop, and I was like, I shall continue speaking. So that was, that was really just kind of where it started. So I kind of played around with some things, and then found coaching, and was like, my mind is blown by this tool of basically kind of being able to get anything that you want in life with the power of your own mind. This is how I see it. It's literally like the magic key that I feel is the key to everything, because the only thing that stops us from getting what we want, honestly, is our minds and how we're thinking about stuff. And when you realize that and understand that, it just shifts your entire reality. It's kind of like, I have my life before coaching and I have my life after coaching, and they're two completely separate worlds. And I could just see all of my blind spots from before. I've still probably got like 1,000 of them, but I'm just waking up to them and actually working on them, which is fascinating. So yeah, I just really want to share with you guys how it is possible to have a business that you really love. Of course, crappy things happen, and we feel crappy sometimes when they happen. But how can you reduce the percentage of crappiness and increase the percentage of fun and easiness? And that's what is kind of what I help my clients do first and foremost. It's like, how do you want to be feeling? How do you want to be showing up? what suits you and your strengths, and let's start there. Because if you're not enjoying it, there's literally no point. I didn't start this journey to be unhappy and be miserable. I really started this journey to have more time back, more time freedom, money freedom, fun. Oh, hello, I see a little person in the
sorry,
background.
getting gate crashed. Yeah. Putting my clothes on.
Oh.
I love you.
So yeah, it's that one of those things, and it's always a work in progress. It's not perfect, it's very messy, and I want to be able to share that it's possible for it to be a work in progress and be very messy, and also you're constantly growing. The two go together. It's never like, I need to wait till I'm ready before I can enjoy this. I need to wait till I'm ready before I can do the thing. It's never that way. I started off and it was literally the messiest thing you'll ever see. I didn't make any offers. I was showing up doing Facebook Lives for no other reason than like someone told me it was a good idea. I was like, great, I'll take that. I'll do that for a year, shall I? Every week and not make any money. That would be fun. So I did that. But in doing that, I learned and actually got better at delivering and actually doing Facebook Lives and being visible and actually removing those blocks on visibility and getting over my fear of failing, getting over my fear of messing it up. Started my first Facebook Live with the phone literally the wrong way round until my friend commented and she's like, mate, you're sideways. What are you doing? I was like, oh, cool. So that was like 20 minutes in. Just stuff like that, which you think is the end of the world when you're doing it, and then you're like, this really doesn't matter. Like, no one cares about that stuff.
Well,
really
I did one this week and I was still muted. I was chatting away the whole time, completely muted. And then Beth actually messaged saying, are you muted? I was like, yeah, I am, again. But no, I can't wait. I mean, I'm really excited to hear all of your top tips, because we talk about mindset a lot. I mean, you know, we work in nutrition and it's like, you are what you eat. You know, if you're going to fuel your body with total crap, you're going to feel like crap. And similarly, if you feel it, but then your mind is such a, I mean, it's everything. Your brain is your most, you can't live without your brain. And again, if you feed it bad messages, negative things, you're only going to put blocks in the way. And I think for a lot of people, like the law of attraction, The Secret, all of that stuff, it seems a bit woo-woo when you first get into that side of things, but your brain literally seeks what it wants and will attract what you feed it and the messages you tell it. So, you know, your happiness is so important down to what you think, how the messages you give yourself and how you think yourself to happiness, basically.
Absolutely, 100%. So I want to like take this back to basics, a few kind of founding concepts that will help as we go through this, because literally, as you just said, Chloe, how you're thinking is the filter through which you see everything. So, and that's why I love all that law of attraction stuff. I love The Secret and I love the woo-woo-iness of it, but I'm a very practical person. I'm like, give me the stuff. Like, I want to see how this actually works. So it's really, really interesting. First things first, how you feel about your business is 100% within your control. So I just want to like let that land, because so often we think we're at the effect or at the mercy of external things, like at the mercy of money, how much money there is or isn't, how many clients there are or aren't, how many people are engaging or not engaging, who's responding. Like, we feel like we're at the mercy of these external things and we allow it. It's subconscious, but we allow it to affect our emotional internal system. But I just want to offer and kind of let that sit, that you're always 100% in control of how you think and feel about your business. So you can choose to feel differently. I know it doesn't feel like that sometimes. I know it feels like the emotions literally just come and like clobber you around the head and it can knock you out. It really can. I've had that experience where I've kind of like, something's happened and it wasn't what I expected. Took me out for 3 days. Didn't want to do anything. Didn't want to show up on social media. Didn't want to post. But it's that mastery of yourself. You're always in control. So just remember, you get to be the leader. You get to set the tone. You get to welcome in the energy that you like and to shield yourself from the things you don't like, that don't light you up. So that's really the first place to start, is like understanding your own power in this, your own agency. You get to decide, you get to have responsibility. It's so tempting to kind of delegate responsibility to other things like the economy or like increasing energy bills or this or that or the other. I just want to offer to you, it's entirely possible for you to have minus £50,000 in your bank account, no clients, and still love your business. That is possible because of the way you're thinking about it. I've seen evidence of that, of my clients who've had really difficult times, challenging times. The way that you think about it is everything, because that determines your next step. So there seems to be this kind of myth in the online business world, particularly, about you have to be feeling like in the right energy at all times to be able to attract money or clients. I think that's a really toxic idea, because we're human beings. We're not always happy and dancing and singing with the unicorns and the butterflies. 50% of the time, we're feeling pretty crap. 50% of the time, we feel pretty good. So if you try and bypass the feeling pretty crap and pretend you're feeling good, thinking to yourself, I should be feeling a certain way in order to get a result, or before I show up, I have to be like full of energy, really happy and positive. It's really toxic for you. It's not allowing you to be your full self. It's not allowing you to embrace all of you. And in fact, it's detracting from your clients and your audience's value they get from you. It just perpetuates that myth that you have to be like a certain way. So I just want to kind of offer to you that you get to decide what that way is. If you're naturally not a super bubbly, positive person, why would you have to be that way in order to attract clients? You'll probably attract clients who kind of have like an ironic, quite dark sense of humor, and they love you and they love the fact you swear or whatever. So there is this kind of received wisdom that you have to, I don't know, people talk about vibe and energy a lot, and I strongly believe in energy, but understanding your own emotions is your job. Controlling your emotions is your job. It's not the job of your audience. It's not the job of your clients. It's not the job of people who buy from you. Your only job is to show up and serve them. Their job is just to receive the value. And if they want it, they take it. It's not their job to make you feel good. So don't put that onto them. And that's why sales can become super icky and weird. So that's like a different part of what I'll be talking about when we have this agenda and when we're kind of like wanting someone else to do something to make us feel a certain way. So if you find that you're not enjoying your business for any reason, you feel you should be doing different things in a different way, I want you to first do a little bit of a sense check, like an internal navigation check. Is this coming from you, your intuition, your knowing, your wisdom, or is this coming from somebody else's external feedback or opinion or thought or the way that things should be? If you've been in business a while, you'll know that finding the difference can be really tricky because there's a lot of noise. We hear a lot of different things. We're exposed to lots of different opinions about how things should go. But just do a little check, like, is this actually from me or is this from somebody else? Just practice noticing what really comes from you. If you don't like doing something, do not do it. So I always say to my clients, like, what's the thing that you won't do in growing your business? Like, what's off the table? Some of them are like, I will never, ever, ever do a Facebook Live. I'm like, cool, don't then. Like, why force yourself into doing something that you naturally really loathe? You'll never enjoy it. You will never do it consistently, and it will never be sustainable. You may force yourself, but it's never going to create the result you want because your feeling going into it is like, oh, I hate this. So just be really like governed by yourself first and foremost. So how can you enjoy your business more and have more easiness, more freedom, and more feeling of control? I think that comes up a lot for people, is that feeling of control and feeling of being in charge. So I've broken it down into these 4 areas that I think when you kind of go through these 4 and check against what's happening in your business right now, this can be really revealing. So inspiration. Do you feel an inspiration or a connection to what you're doing. I don't mean that you have to be literally like tripping daisies every single day, like jumping out of bed, but do you, on the whole, on that ratio percentage of, I love someone put in the chat, crappiness and happiness, on that ratio scale, like, do you have the motivation, that kind of feeling of like, I really like doing this, I really know my reasons, keeps me going. That's really important. And it's really important because when things are difficult, which they inevitably are difficult sometimes, it keeps you going. Like, it keeps you on the straight and narrow. It reminds you why you're doing it. You're like, hey, I know why we're doing this. Kind of like that conversation you have with your brain, like, hey, get on board. We're doing this for this reason. This is why it's important. So inspiration first. Second one is momentum. So are you taking actions that give you an idea and give you the sense and evidence of forwards motion? So if you've got the inspiration but no momentum, you could just sit around feeling inspired all day. It's literally going to get you nowhere. You could sit around and be so inspired, but not taking any actions to create the forwards motion. You're really going to come up short. So having momentum and then seeing evidence that the actions you're taking are moving you forwards. And remember, you're always in charge of what you think. So choosing to think the thought, everything I do moves me forwards. You just get to choose that. No one can tell you off or tell you you're not allowed or tell you not to believe it. You can just believe everything I'm doing, I'm getting better. Every single day I take action, it moves me forwards. And these are all the reasons why. And then go ahead and look for all the reasons why. Like Chloe was saying, our brains are fine-tuned to validate and verify what we're telling it. So our brains are literally programmed to go and look for the things that we're saying are true. So if you're saying to yourself, this is really hard, I can't find any clients, or I'm not making any money, it's going to take ages, anything along those lines, your brain will go and give you all of the feedback and the evidence that that's true. Of course, it's then going to be true because it makes you feel rubbish, you won't take the actions, and it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when you're telling yourself something like, it's possible, I can be massively successful doing this. It's possible, I'm getting better every single day. Or just use the word maybe if it's too much. And this is why affirmations, I kind of can't really get on board with affirmations, because when they're so far from our current reality, your brain kind of has a hard time getting there. So for me, they don't necessarily work. I know for others, they work really, really well. But because I'm very practical and I like to be like, no, tell me the steps. Like, I want to know the actions. I find that if I can get to the next thought up from where I am now, that I can 100% believe today, that's really helpful. So you can use the word maybe. Maybe my next client is going to sign today. It's possible that I can make $2,000 this month. So yeah, I love that as well. So that's one that I use a lot, that every day I'm getting better. I'm only going to get better. This is the best I'm at currently, and I'm only going up from here, because it's true. Today is the best you've been, but you're only going to get better from here. So it's kind of win-win. I love that idea. Like, you're only improving all the time. So that's the momentum piece. The third one is confidence. So we think, or we're told, that to do things, we have to have confidence. Does that make sense? Like, before you do things, you have to feel confident to do them. It's the other way around. You do the thing first, and that gives you confidence. But to do the thing first, it takes a different emotion. It takes the emotion of courage, which, by the way, feels quite dreadful. If anyone's done something scary out of your comfort zone, you'll know this. When we're doing things that are safe, that are in our known area, it's easy because we're like, well, I know how to do that. It doesn't take anything doesn't require anything extra of me. To do something different requires courage. So you can't, like, this concept of faking confidence till you make it, again, I don't agree with it at all, because you'll always know in you that you are faking it, and that is just that dissonance, again, that gap will always trip you up. At some point it will come and like pull the rug from under your feet. But by taking the actions, by being really courageous and brave, doing really hard things, not knowing you're going to get it right, in fact, probably thinking, I'm going to do this hard thing and I'm going to probably fail, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's literally the only way to be really successful. All people that I talk to who have made lots and lots of money, who are growing really healthy, thriving businesses, they all have the same mindset. They're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'll just figure it out. I'll literally just fail my way up. And I'll learn all of the things I need to learn along the way. And then when I get to the end, I'll look back and I'll be like, oh, that's how you do it. Like, we expect to know the how you do it at ground zero, which is impossible. It's literally impossible. So we have this construct and this mindset that we're given from like corporate backgrounds, from, you know, university, from school, that was like, no, you have to know the path. You have to know steps A to Z before you start. That's a complete, don't know what the word is, but it's just not true, because as an entrepreneur, it's a lot of wiggling, it's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of failure, and refining and learning to get it right. So it's naturally quite difficult, which is why having resilience and a mindset like this is really helpful. So yeah, the confidence, when you start taking the actions, you will get the confidence. You'll be like, oh, I did that thing. It was really hard, but now I know I can do that. Now I know that that's something that is not something to have a fear around. And you'll notice this. So I would challenge you as well to have a look over the last 6 months. Think of something that you are doing today and how you're feeling about it today, and think about you 6 months ago. If you were doing that thing, how you felt about it, or if you weren't doing that thing, what you were fearful about. And I just want you to notice the growth in yourself, because we're so bad at this. We're so bad at celebrating ourselves, being like, oh my goodness, good job. You've actually done loads of stuff that you never did before, and you've learned loads of things. And in fact, you don't have many fears around doing this anymore. Never stop to take that step to kind of celebrate ourselves. So do that. It's really fun. And the fourth one is impact. So we've got inspiration, momentum, which is the action taking, the confidence piece. So courage before confidence, to do the actions and then see the evidence. Then the fourth piece, which I think is a really crucial one, is seeing the impact you're having. So you need to have some feedback. We're not business robots. We have emotions. We're human beings. We need to see that it's working to keep us going. So you need to have that sense of impact. And sometimes we have to give it to ourselves. We have to look around and say, great, I did something and I was expecting this result, and I actually got this result. How can I still say this was successful? How was this successful for me? And take your brain there, because our brains always go to what's wrong. They're like, and here's what you did wrong, and this, and this, and this. Now go sit in the corner. Take your brain first to, hang on, I just did this thing. How is it that that was actually successful? Instead of focusing on all the stuff that you could have done better. And of course, we can always do things better. We can always do things better and improve. But as I said, you're the best you'll ever be today, and you're only getting better. So what can you learn, and what can you take forwards into the next thing from that? Sometimes when we don't have evidence of people saying, great, that's amazing, and I want to buy your thing, and I want to sign up, and your business is growing, when you don't have that yet in the early stages, or for whatever reason you've hit like a plateau, you have to find your own impact and remind yourself of your own impact. It's really difficult to kind of keep going and to be resilient and to push forwards without that little pat on the back. we're not conditioned to do this. It's seen as really self-congratulatory. Don't even know if that's how you say it, but you're not meant to blow your own trumpet. You're not meant to be like, I'm so great because. I really think we need to step into that and start celebrating ourselves more, because that's how you kind of get the fuel and the juice to keep moving forwards. Any questions so far? I'm just aware that I've downloaded a lot of words at you so far. Is there anything coming up that you want to ask or anything else? I was having a look in the chat. Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. That's a good one. Love that. Yes, don't wait to be perfect. 100%. Yay, I love that.
It's so true about celebrating the small wins, and I think we need to do it more. We need to do it not just for ourselves, but for the people that we support with our products or with our business, or who we work alongside. Even things like, if your kids tell you you're a really good mum, it's like, oh, thanks, because you're the first to be like, oh, I'm such a bad mum, I let them down with this. And we don't pay enough compliments forward, or when we get a compliment, our default is, oh, you're just saying that. We knock it away.
Yeah.
And actually, it's so nice to be like, thank you, that's lovely.
Yeah. Thank you. I worked really hard on that, and I'm really proud of myself. Do people ever say that? They're always like, oh, this old thing, it was like 50p an Oxfam or whatever. Yeah,
it is. We naturally default to that kind of there's somebody on the call tonight who did an incredible job today doing something, and the first thing they said was, oh, I made a mistake on this and it's just driving me mad. And it's like, actually, hang on, you just did something amazing, stood up in front of all these people live, shared your knowledge and your passion. And of course, the first thing we do is think about what we did wrong, which is what we all do all the time.
We all do. And it's a conscious effort. It is. And that's why I love this work, because it's a practice. It's literally like going to the gym or doing anything or creating any new habit. You just have to practice it. No one's born with it. We are all born with this default human brain that goes to negative first, danger first, safety first. That's just a given. So it is a practice to just bring your mind back. Something I always tell my clients is actually a point you made about the default kind of knocking it away. I'm going to come back to, because that really relates to money as well. So I wanted to go into that a little bit more. But something I have to really remind my clients is that this is never a fluke. They'll say to me, oh, I did this thing, but it was because, and there's always a justification, oh, it's just someone who knew me before, it was a good friend, or it was a referral. So actually they downplaying their role in it happening. And I'm always the first person to be like, well, no, that's not true. That's not true. Why are you downplaying what your part was? And similarly, we can get into this zone where we think that the things are happening by luck or by chance, and that they won't happen again. Oh, I was just really lucky, right time, right place. No, it's you. And I've got one client who I literally have to say to her, I'm like, so how many times will this have to happen for you to be believe that it's not a fluke? I mean, really, this conversation is going to end. I'm not going to engage anymore, because she's like, oh, it's a fluke. I'm like, it's the fourth time. So yeah, I think that is out of the question. So we all have those feelings, and it's part of accepting them, accepting our own flaws, accepting that we're going to have emotions about stuff, but you don't let the emotion, the kind of instinctive, responsive emotion, control decisions. You allow it, you allow the fear, you allow the anxiety, you allow the whatever's happening, desperation or frustration, you allow it a seat at the table. You just don't let it make any strategic decisions, because it's not prepared, it's not equipped, it's actually not qualified to make those decisions for you. Think of it as the bullshit intern. Yeah, just go organize the books, just go over there. You're allowed in the room, you're just not going to come and sit at the CEO table. Okay? You just have to give them some space and allow them to be there, because they're there for all of us. There is not one person who doesn't have them, regardless of success or whatever. It's the same for everyone.
Bullshit intern's a good one. We like that. Very, Yeah. And how much of it as well is conditioned from when we're little, because, you know, nobody wants to know it all, or a bragger, or a bigot, or a, you know, like, you know, if I said like, oh, Amy, I've just launched my website, I'm so pleased with it, it's amazing, I'm so proud of myself, Amy would be like, oh, see you, Clay. Like, you know, you're not meant to talk like that, are you? You're little.
Again, it's an interesting one, and one that I've been talking about a lot around money as well. So I'm going to come on to the money stuff, because I
Show
think
me
this
the money. Show me the money, Jerry Maguire. Come on.
So I had a really fabulous conversation with someone. I'm going to turn my light on. Bear with me one moment. It's really dark.
You're all taking lots of notes.
And Chloe, your website is amazing, and you should be.
I'm only joking. You know, here we go, knocking it down. You know, you can't even see. Yeah, I can't be objective to it.
I know.
Yeah, I actually can't turn my my living room light on either, because I've just moved house and don't know how the light.
Don't know where the switch is.
Sorry about that. Just have to see me in like weird gloom. So what was I going to say? Yes. So this part around what we've been told is acceptable to want, I think this is really important when it comes to enjoying your business and understanding. So first things first, you have a business. Your business is there to make money and to provide value. You give value, people give you money. It's literally why you have a business. Just remember that. I really want you to remember that. Doesn't matter why you want the money. No one gets to tell you what you should want, why you should want it, or that it's wrong or incorrect or too much or greedy or ambitious, or is it just too much? Shouldn't you be happy with what you've got? None of that BS is allowed in any space that I create, because it is total BS. We're conditioned to want just enough, what's acceptable, what's appropriate for women, to be kind of given the crumbs off the table, be really grateful for it. Oh, you should be so grateful you're promoted. Just, it's a good job. You should hang in there. You should hang in the really good job, even if you're massively miserable. Just really lucky to be there. It's such a toxic thought, and it's such a toxic conditioning. And it really filters down into women making money, and women making money in a really big, happy, energetic, free and open way, which is how we all want to make money. There's different ways of making money. So having a business is creating a lot of value and getting paid in return. So the money is simply an indicator of how much value you're creating in the world. So when you look at it like that, it's just a really good scorecard. And also, it's a really good tool. It's neutral. It doesn't mean anything until we make it mean things. But if anyone questions or kind of challenges, or you feel, even if no one questions, you have this inbuilt sense that you have to justify your reasons for making money or not making money, obviously, whatever your jam is, whatever you want, you never have to justify that. You want what you want because you want it, full stop. And don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let anybody kind of get in your head about reasons for just being satisfied. Just enough to be comfortable. I hear this so many times. Oh, I don't want to make lots of money. Oh, no, I actually just don't want to make lots of money. I just want to be comfortable. And I'm like, cool, if that's true for you, that's amazing. However, let's just try and make lots of money and see how you feel, because you might change your mind. You might suddenly be like, actually, this is quite a lot of fun because I'm creating more value. I'm seeing more value that I'm getting. I can do more things with it. I can use it as a tool in all the ways that I want to. So I had a client recently who was very much of this, like, oh, I don't want a big business. It seems like a lot of hard work. Again, that's literally a thought in her mind. It's never the truth. It's just a thought. Oh, it seems like a lot of hard work. It's going to be too difficult. It's going to take time away from my family. And I'm not really motivated by money. I'm not that interested in money. And then we looked at kind of her financials and we went, you do realize that you're on track to make like between 60 and 80K this year. She was like, wait, what? She's like, maybe I do want to make some money. But it was that idea that she had to get on board with being the kind of person who wanted to make. Does that make sense? Being the kind of woman who does make that money, and it requires a bit of a shift of identity. If you're so used to you're scared of hard work. Yes, yeah. And this is a thing, because we are, again, like, we're kind of conditioned in this masculine way of working that effort equals rewards. Basically, you clock in, you clock out, you do really long hours, you get the money. We're now living in an age where intellectual property and information is the highest currency. Like, information is everywhere. How you use it and how you apply it to solve problems is what people pay you money for. So we don't live in an age where people trade their time for money really anymore. Like, we're moving into a different age. So you can work 5 hours a week and, using your brain, create value that is huge amounts of money. Does that make sense? It's never about that kind of time for money ratio, because when we're stuck in that, of course we think, oh, I've just got to work like 50, 60-hour weeks to make that kind of money. And it's never about that. It's always about working smarter with what you have. Like, what unique skill set differentiator do I have that sets me apart? How can I play to my strengths? How can I do less but put more oomph behind it? How can I focus down, do fewer things, and make them matter more? Can't be doing all the things all the time. It's too much. We've all got too much to do. We've got kids and families and houses and dogs and jobs and whatnot. We've got too many things to do. So loving your business and enjoying your business really comes down to understanding the important stuff, focusing on the important stuff, and just ignoring the rest until later. So make life easy for yourself. Don't make life difficult for yourself. Again, coming back to what you know, like, you know best. You always know best. You always know what's going to work for you, what's going to suit you with your strengths. And so you get to decide what that looks like for you. And then the fun part is you get to try it out. You get to say, who can support me? Who's done this in a really amazing way? Whose brain can I borrow to make my journey quicker? Which is basically what coaching is, or any mentorship. You don't have to figure it all out yourself from the ground. You can just go and borrow someone else's brain, pay money for someone else's brain to shorten your trial and error, basically, to shorten your journey. Use other people. We can't do this by ourselves. Why wouldn't you want to, like, use the best brains on this topic to make yourself faster and learn at a more rapid pace? So focusing on the important stuff. Number one, connecting with potential clients, engaging with them, and building real relationships. Number one. That's really where you need to be focusing a lot of time and energy if you want to grow your business and be doing things that actually make you see results. So how are you engaging with people? Are you talking to people? Are you meeting lots of people? Are you talking about what you do and why you do it and why you're special and why it matters? And if you're not, it really just shows you have a bit of work to do. And this can be the biggest block for my clients before they come to me. Is like, I know I'm amazing at what I do. I'm just really scared to go and talk about it because of, you know, it could be any of those reasons, like because of my ex-colleagues, they'll see it all and I just don't want them to know I'm doing this. I feel like a bit of a fraud. You know, all of that stuff that comes up. So focusing on that and working through all of the things that brings up for you, so you can get out there and be really, really confident to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I love it. This is why I don't care what you think about it, unless you're paying my bills. And this is why you should definitely be doing it. Number 2 priority action is making a lot of offers to help people. So actively getting out there and being the most helpful, valuable person in any room, whether that's the virtual room, an in-person room, wherever. like being that person who just brings value. Again, because you get paid in the world by the value you're creating. It doesn't matter if it's not a direct exchange with the person like paying you money for the value you give them. You just give tons of value out everywhere. And I promise it comes back to you in lots of weird and wonderful ways. You never have to worry about the ways it comes back. You're just there to like put it out. So think of it this way: when you have a financial goal, I'm just going to say like you want to make 5K a month, let's say. The question you should be asking yourself is, am I showing up and creating and providing at least 25, 30K of value when I show up, just by the stuff that I'm offering for free? Like, am I providing a ton of value? And if you're not, you just need to, that's just where your work is. So people have this real fear and kind of constriction around money and like what you should be charging for, what should be free, what should be paid, what you should hold back. And my philosophy is, and always has been, like, no, you just give. You always give, give, give. You're always the most valuable person, and it always comes back. You just don't get to know when and how. And you can kind of let go of that control because you can't control it. And worrying about controlling it is where the emotional roller coaster goes, of like, oh, only 2 people liked that post, or, you know, any of those things that like send you into a funk. When you're just on a value mission to go and share tons of stuff, you don't care who's engaging, because you're like, I'm just going to do this anyway, because this is just me. I'm just showing up and being super valuable. And I'm just doing it because I love it. And that's just who I am. Okay. So that's what the important stuff. Really make life easy for yourself. Don't make life unnecessarily hard. Our brains want to make this really hard. They want to be like, no, I've got to learn all the latest strategies, all the latest marketing tactics. And you really don't, I promise. If you're doing this, if you're speaking to your people with genuine like curiosity, generosity and interest, and being super helpful, you will always find your people and you'll always make sales. Even if you hate sales and you mess up every single conversation, if that's your intention and your thought, you'll always land on your feet. Yeah, exactly. With that expectation, it's so important. Okay, so what isn't important? So my business is slightly different to the structure of your businesses. So forgive me if this doesn't come across the right way, but when I see my clients and I'm working with them on like, right, let's get you to your consistent 5 and 10K months. Let's work on that marketing and sales process. What they want to do is like, okay, I'm going to go away and work on a video sales letter and a funnel. I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to go do my website, and I'm going to go do my SEO. I'm going to go take a lot of courses and get all of that stuff up to scratch. And my answer is always, don't bother until you've made like 50K, 100K, and when your branding becomes important. Unless you need it for literally transactional reasons, you don't need any of that stuff. And that's going to be probably a message you won't hear from other people, because yes, it's important to have a brand that's like in alignment, etc., but genuinely your clients do not care about that. They only care that you're going to help them get a result. They literally only care about that. The thought going through your client's mind is, can they help me get this result? How does that look? Like, how will they get me the result? Is it possible for me? Is it going to work? It's all they're thinking, I promise you. So when we kind of hide behind graphics and pretty Instagram and knowing all the social media algorithms, it's exhausting as hell. You can't possibly learn it all. You'd have to literally be a social media manager to keep up with all the changes in algorithm. It's really like, you don't need to. I promise you, you don't need to. When you have such a value focus and you're focusing on your clients and what they need, you don't need any of that. I really promise you. Of course, when you grow and when you have to have a bigger presence and reach more people, that stuff does become important. But within the first, I want to say like 6 months, a year, almost 2 years of business, it's not necessary. It's not something that you need to be spending time and energy on. And also you don't have to be on all the social media all the time. We think that like we have to, because people on social media tell us we do. They're like, wow, you need to be posting 5 times a day to get your audience up. Like, what good is an audience if you don't have clients? I'd rather have clients and a really small audience than a huge audience and no clients. So all at your own pace, all in your own time, choose what feels best to you and just do that. So that's kind of how to make your sales and marketing feel easier. And just remembering, I'm going to like wrap up and have some questions, but the 3 biggest blocks to enjoying your business and really kind of having the feelings that you want to have like confidence, calm, certainty, you know, any of those things that come up when you think about being in your business, like how do you want to feel? The 3 biggest blocks is 1, saying to yourself it's hard is the first stumbling block. Because again, when we say it's hard, we see evidence that it's hard, it becomes hard. And then we take actions that then create the same thing. Or that it's not working in any way. Just ban those thoughts. Honestly, it is a habit and it's a practice. Just ban those thoughts. Just say, no, we're not allowing you in. The second one is listening to other people's advice over your own inner guidance. So when we rely on external feedback and advice over and above our own like internal system, our own internal, I don't know what the word is, but like intuition maybe, when we get confused with other messages, we lose our way. So just come back to yourself and do that sense check. Is this mine? Do I want this thought? Is this thought something I agree with? Is it actually true? Do I really feel it? And then the third one, and this is a really tricky one, could probably talk on this for hours, but tying your self-worth to your business worth. So pegging your self-worth as a human being to money or to clients or to results or to goal achievement or any of those things. It's literally 2 separate things. Your worth as a human being can never be altered by any of those things. None of those things affect how worthy you are as a human being. But we get really messy and confused by thinking, oh, I've got to charge my worth. Like, what does that even mean? A human being's worth is like infinite. What are you going to charge? Like 10 million pounds? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's never a thing. To calculate the prices, and of course for your businesses this is probably quite different, but to calculate your prices, if it's a service, you just calculate what's the value of the result my client gets. That's what you should charge. When they get that result, what's it worth to them? That's the best way of charging, and just being really comfortable and really confident with that equation. When I do these things and they get this result, it's worth this amount of money to them in their life. Nothing to do with you and your worth as a person. So that's it. Any questions?
My brain's going. I've written it all, 3 pages of notes. There's a lot to think about. It's very exciting. Thank you. So good. Does anyone have questions? I know people have been commenting and things like that, but are there any questions? And also on Facebook, so we've had people watching on there. George on Facebook saying, I love the idea of value focus and all at your own pace. Thank you for sharing. Katie on Facebook says, hope this question is relevant. I'm currently wondering whether to give free initial consultations or charge. She's a hypnotherapist, so some don't charge and some do. What's your thoughts on that one? Charging for like free value at the start?
Yeah. I don't know, because I always think like the question I go to in my mind is like, what's best for your client? Can they get a result in that time? Or yeah, like what would be best for them? Because you just get to decide and then just really like your reason for it. So if you just love the fact that like, no, this is really serious and I'm qualified and it's taken me a lot of time to get here and the results are amazing, they should pay. And I really love that reason. Or it could be like, I want to get 5 new clients and I want them to have a really good experience before they buy in. you just get to decide.
Well,
Sorry,
Katie,
that's very helpful.
I can speak on personal experience with that one, and with the hypnotherapies I've worked with and the people who do therapy. I think it's really important to do a short discovery call, because you need to know if you can gel with that person, don't you? It's like coaching, I imagine, Meg. Like, you know, there are coaches out there, but when we meet you and the value you give, it's like, oh my God, I really gel with what you're saying. You're literally speaking my internal thought. Yeah, I want to work with you. So it's actually worth it, you doing a discovery call or something, because I think it's such a close one-to-one, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you can gel and get with that person. Yeah. Debbie's a nutritionist. She said, yes, definitely do a discovery call for 20 minutes. Everyone's saying loads of food for thought, loads of info. Thank you so much. Lots to think about. Wow. Yeah. Beth does an hour discovery call because she does health coaching. Lots to absorb. Yeah, I think we're all just, I mean, I've written big capitals, I've done highlighters. So much. It's brilliant, Meg. It's really, really fantastic. And I love all the different tips you've said and things we need to think about for ourselves and remove those blocks. Absolute genius. Does anybody else have anything else they want to ask Meg while she's here? Get into her brain and tap that knowledge.
Yeah.
Amy.
Can I ask a question, please? I run a few different businesses. So for me, it's about finding the balance between how much energy to put into all of them and trying to manage and schedule my week kind of accordingly. And because I've just started up with as a reflexologist, I feel like all my energy is going there. So everything else goes to the side a little bit. So what's your general advice for someone who has more than one kind of income stream but wants to do both of them equally?
What's the other business?
So I'm a reflexologist, and then I'm also with Juice Plus.
Okay. It's a really good one, and it's one that I've coached on before. So I kind of see this as like a portfolio brand. Like, you're the brand, and then you have these arms underneath of the different stuff that you do. So a couple of things. It's hard to split focus and go all in on two things. This is probably what you found, right? Like, one will naturally dominate the other. So it's about making that decision, and then really like making the decision to be like, right, I'm going to go all in on this one for X amount of time because of these reasons, and I really love these reasons, and that's just what's going to happen. And then deciding, because we can't, like, it's just humanly not possible to put the same amount of effort and energy into two things at once. So you could, I don't know how you work best, but it will come down to like your time management and productivity management as well. Maybe you could almost split your weeks to be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this, Thursday, Friday that. But again, in my own personal experience, I find it really difficult to have more than two focuses at once. So it's like, which one am I going for and why? And do I love it? Do I love my reasons for it? And what would it, maybe a better question is, what would it look like for both of them to be thriving? How would I need to be for that to be the case? It might just mean that you have to kind of level up your effectiveness. You might have to level up how you're thinking about it, and seeing synergies between them that you can like cross market, cross sell. There's loads of opportunity there, but again, it's like a bit of a mindset block, thinking I can't do both at once. So that's my own thought. So don't take that on if that's not your thought. So maybe the better question is, how could I, what would I need to do differently to be able to do them both really well?
Thank you, Meg. Yeah, because they are kind of interlinked, because my clients, I always give them nutritional advice because it's a holistic treatment. So it does overlap. But yeah, it's a case of just, like you said, finding a good balance that works. So thank you.
Maybe a bit of trial and error there. Yeah.
Amazing. So Meg, how do we get in touch with you? So I've got your website. I'm just popping it in here, and people can connect with you on Instagram as well. Is that the best thing to do if they want to look into more of what you do?
Yeah, I'm just going to pop my actual Instagram in here because I think I sent you the wrong one. Sorry. That's my old one. But also I do have a free workshop on Monday. So you're all, of course, invited. It's a 5-day live workshop on growing your business sustainably. So I can drop the link here, or I can send it to you, Chloe, whatever.
Yeah, pop it in here. I'll pop it in the Facebook group. That'll be amazing. So it's 5 days. What time?
It's at 1 o'clock every day, Monday to Friday next week.
Okay. And what's it focusing on for the 5 days?
So we are going to walk through my simple marketing strategy on day 1. Day 2, we're talking about the offer that you're going to grow your business with. So how you're going to grow sustainably, like focusing on your strengths. Then we move into selling and how to do really confident sales. What's the other bit? Caught me on the hop. The last day is like growing from solopreneur to like a business, how you kind of transition into CEO mode versus kind of freelancer solopreneur mode. There is another day that I've just forgotten. So let me just pop
6-figure roadmap. Oh no,
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's on your profile. It's on your
profile.
Yeah, no, amazing. Okay. So, and Amy said, how long is each session?
It's an hour, and they're all recorded as well. So if you can't make them, just join the group and then I'll know to tag you and send you replays and whatnot.
Sounds brilliant. Yes, please put that in. And you've also got your Calendly link as well.
Oh, I do.
I'm on your Facebook. I'm stalking. So if people want it, so is that to book in with you for like a discovery and a chat about your coaching and what you do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just see if I've got that to hand.
That's all right. It's in.
You're more organised than I am, Chloe.
That's right. You're chatting. I'm copy and pasting. I bet it's easier. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm sure you'll see some of us then next week.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. It's really lovely to be in your community and come along.
You've given value. You've just earned yourself your 25k of value. That was fantastic. Really, really good.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And Lena, thank you so much for introducing Meg to us all. And thank you, Meg, for trusting us with your health. Yes. Good hands with Lena. You're definitely getting the right stuff in to keep you optimal, feeding your brain, all that good stuff.
Feeding my brain. I think I'm going to need the omegas.
You do want the omegas.
That's on my list. Yes.
Yeah, total brain fuel. No, amazing. Meg, thank you so much. You've been absolutely brilliant. I've loved tonight. Really much. Good. Thank you.
Thanks so much, ladies.
Good luck with the boxes. Start with the one behind you. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Meg.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Love, Meg. Thank you. Cheers, darling.